I'll quickly talk about the underwater domain awareness. As Catherine mentioned, we are building this up. Underwater has multiple dimensions, and apart from Tejaswini in our center, we have multiple research fellows looking at various dimensions, right from sediment management, fouling to fisheries and aquaculture, and various other digital analysis. So, and Tejaswini is trying to put together the whole policy aspect and how geopolitics and various aspects need to be put together. So I'll just quickly make a small presentation to share our thoughts on the UDA framework. Uh, Although I'll not cover the main topic on Brahmaputra, which will be covered by Tejaswini. So just to give you a perspective why UDA is important, I would like to make three major points. One is the importance of the underwater domain and why we need to look at aspects from the underwater side also. The second is the tropical characteristics, the unique tropical characteristics. I mean, we are in the tropical region, and we need to kind of take care the rich biodiversity and various tropical characteristics. I'll not go into the details of it. And if we want to really do good govern, understanding the local conditions are extremely important. And from the underwater perspective, I would also like to say that more than the surface, so much more is below the water. I don't want to put a number here, but looking at it from the underwater domain is extremely important. And how to also look at traditional knowledge, where science and technology can kind of enable the limitations of the traditional knowledge. And I would like to typically highlight three aspects. Sediment management, all the panelists are aware, but even for people who are not aware, the Brahmaputra, this is a very big issue. I mean, it loses almost 4,000 meters after it enters India. And the siltation or the sediment transport pattern is very, very unique. And unless we understand that and do some real study, it will be impossible to really manage the river in multiple ways, whether it is for transportation or various resource management, or even managing floods and erosion. The second aspect is the underwater radiated noise. Now there is a serious talk on, and not just talk, there is so much activities going on around the inland water transport. And the freshwater dolphin, I mean the hihu as we call it in the local language, is a very unique species. And as we all know, it is blind and it uses acoustic vision. So the radiated noise from the marine platforms, or basically these ships that will be put for inland water transport, will have a very serious impact. So how do we I mean, I'm not here to say that we should stop development, but being aware and how we can navigate these aspects or these concerns of sustainability is also very important. And how do we even kind of plug it into our discussion on environment impact assessment? The third is biofouling. I mean, there'll be so much of infrastructure that will be coming up, and the tropical region have very serious issue with regards to fouling. So we need to be very, very mindful. The intensity of fouling and the rate of fouling are two very important aspects. I mean, we seem to be far more dependent on knowledge from the developed world, but I think the developed world will not be able to kind of address the unique issues of our region, particularly the tropical aspect. So we need to, so we have a research fellow on this subject, and we the kind of inputs that we are witnessing are very, very scary also at some times. I mean, we not just as a country, but as a region, I think maritime development has become a very, very serious policy direction. So we need to be mindful of these aspects. That's what I would like to submit here. And also the fragmentation that we see. Multiple stakeholders are in silos, if I may use the word. So how all of them can come together, and because as a developing part of the world, resource will always be an issue. But we still see significant fragmentation among stakeholders. So how they can all come together, build capacity, and then use it in a more synergized and more optimal manner. Sediment management is one big issue where there are multiple stakeholders who can collaborate. Second is underwater noise. Security uses stealth as a terminology. Habitat degradation is what our environmentalists use. And finally, the ship designers and shipbuilders will have to deliver these platforms. So we need to all work together on this. River Dolphin, as I said, is very, very unique. It uses, we have done some studies. I was part of a study with Tokyo University and WWF, and we had some very unique findings of that study. So more activities will create massive degradation. So acoustic habitat degradation is another area which requires very serious study. Then, of course, the marine spatial planning or the digital transformation, we need to invest significantly, and this will be a significant governance tool which will give us very good visualization and will really help the policy intervention. This is the UDA framework that we have built. If you look at the four stakeholders, strategic security, blue economies, sustainability, climate change, and digital transformation, all of them need to come together and pool in resources and synergize effort so that we can deliver. And if you look at the vertical construct, I mean, a lot of sensing. So we have very little information what is below the surface. So a lot of effort is required, analysis, and then policy. And each of the smaller cubes could be, I mean, even we have academia that can get involved, and many of our students or young professionals can take up different aspects towards real world problem solving. So, I mean, the UDA framework, as you saw in the schematic before, provides policy intervention, technology intervention, and capacity and capability building. And what we represent in MRC, you can see liberal arts and science and technology working together to provide or to populate this UDA framework. And as Catherine also mentioned, she's working on certain e-learning modules also, so that it can be kind of provided to a large section of our young population. And not limited to India, but for the entire region. And for the digital transformation, I want to especially stress on this. The high-end, I mean, we need three types of people. I mean, high-end data analysts who will basically do the entire tech part of it, hardware, software, all aspects, computational infrastructure. But once that data comes in, we need domain specialists. So, I mean, domain knowledge will be very important, which will cover multidisciplinary people. And the third is the field deployment specialist. Now, we will need a section of people to go to the waterfront and provide us data, or either collecting sample or so. But this can be the local riverine community or the coastal community if it is deployed in the coastal waters. I mean, typically what we see in the name of development, the local indigenous population is kind of marginalized, or they are not mainstream. So this can be a good way where we can kind of bring them also in. And whatever we do, the strategic perspective should include people, economy, nature. So we are doing a lot of gap analysis and we call it a white paper now, which brings in the policy and technology intervention. But the gap analysis basically covers what kind of impact the communities will have, livelihood impact, then economy, and also nature. So we are creating a series of documents on that as well. So I think the way forward would be outreach, engage, sustain. I'll not spend too much time here. This webinar is also one of the effort to reach out to a larger section of experts and also kind of present what this UDA framework is all about. So, and this is, I mean, in terms of implementation, we are looking at this 100 River Warriors initiative where we can kind of get a local participation and a cross section of people to participate in this very important aspect. So I think I'll stop here and hand it over to Tejaswini.